Patrick Jones. I try to work as a water and community food activist, as a artist, permaculturalist, a range of things.
I'm Juliette Anich. I am doing research into contemporary alternatives to the food system.
Okay, my name is Cassie Duncan and I work at Sustainable Table and the General Manager.
People generally across the board in communities see that food and food health and environmental health are logical things for humans to actually be a part of. And demonstrating that at a household and community level, I think, is really easy to show, and to show it in a really joyous way.
And we thought, how do we harness people's passion for food in a way that engages them with the environment? And that's when the idea for the book came about. But the proceeds from the book have been able to support some of our projects in developing communities, which has been really exciting.
And some of the projects that I'm currently working on involve mapping where food is grown on or over public spaces, and harvesting food that is grown on private spaces.
The household and community economies evolve around sharing resources, sharing knowledges, building networks of knowledge building around food production and ecological partnerships. So making sure that people have access to land, to garden, is like a really big part of my work, I guess, and part of my research as well.
And at the moment, it's in a developmental phase around developing a platform to enable all these different mappers across Australia and New Zealand to get together and share their data.
I think urban farming is a massive area of growth, and I would love to see everyone's front yards with veggies.
So we made like a public artwork as a living community garden, and that didn't come about through us, worrying about, writing grants and worrying about what galleries were thinking about work. It came about by just living and actually responding to the subjects that most appealed to us. And in that garden, demonstrating how much food can actually be produced in a kind of ecological context, so that food is a part of an ecology rather than the sort of eroding or desertification of ecology. Food and energy resources can start in a garden, and it might just seem like a lovely sort of bourgeois thing to do, but it's actually really fundamental.
I really thought that when I was mapping things that were going on public space, perhaps we were all into this idea that perhaps we could all share it. And so from that, I'm currently working on a signage project so that people that do want to share are able to put up guidelines or a type of etiquette for how people would want to interact with this fruit. So they wouldn't actually go and just take all of it, they might just take one lemon, because that's all that they really need. We could have this community acceptance around the fruit that grows over people's fences.
When you're actually producing food and you're demonstrating, at the same time, you bring people on board very easily. And I think because food and energy resources are probably at the absolute nub of social dysfunction and inequality and the exploitation of environments and people, our whole food and energy system is an exploitative one. I think we're at a time where we actually have to become generalists again. We actually have to be multi-skilled. We have to learn across disciplines, and we have to start putting all the pieces back together. So, and they're the kinds of relationships that are ecological. The more we're in step with our own development of resources, the less we actually have to participate in industrial progress capitalism.
So my name's Stephen Mushin, and this is the CERES Aquaponics test facility. It's a 120 square metre greenhouse where we're trialling aquaponics, which produces vegetables and fish, with the idea of developing a model for urban agriculture. The system holds about 2,500 herbs, and in the middle of summer we harvest around about 7,000 bunches of herbs a week. We're growing lettuces, coriander, basil, dill, spinach, bok choy, parsley, all manner of different leafy greens. You can grow anything in an aquaponics system, but it's most suited to leafy greens. Our aquaponics system here is built next door to CERES Fair Food, which has been a great relationship for us because we're largely testing different crops at the moment, and the crops that we harvest we can sell to Fair Food, and those veggies end up in the Fair Food vegetable boxes. Aquaponics works by cycling fish waste from fish you have in a tank through a biological filter, and from that biological filter you're growing plants. Aquaponics really is about creating an ecology, building ecosystems. Aquaponic systems will typically use about 1% of the water that a soil-based system would use. So we've moved on to this system, which is a small-scale commercial system, which is designed to show, demonstrate a system which can produce food for around about 50 people. And it's designed to show what can be built on a very small space on a piece of urban land. It's also good for urban environments where you don't have good soil quality. So a system like this can be set up on a car park, as it is here, or on contaminated land, or on land that might be available for a short period of time. So we're expecting to build these systems in schools and in other community spaces.
We always use this saying that you should use your shopping dollar as a vote for the type of food system you'd like to be a part of. And I think that's key to me, that people feel empowered, that one individual decision about how they're going to shop for a week actually has far-reaching implications, and the way you shop might mean the end of factory farming, it might mean that organic food comes down in price.
I guess where I would like to see Melbourne's food supply in 10 years, or how would I anticipate it to be? I anticipate it to be small scale, local. I anticipate it to be slow by means that we wouldn't actually necessarily use fossil fueled type of transport. It might be walked or bicycled. I anticipate it to be largely shared, that people will start sharing things over the back fence a lot more.
You start off really small, so build your first small patch, no dig garden, layer it up with found materials, leaves, lawn clippings, coffee grinds, any sort of manure you can get. Like, biomass is everywhere. It's really just understanding that it's a free, fertility for food is actually a free resource, and it's absolutely everywhere. It's just about how you recognise it. And over a number of years of working the same patch and tending to it and giving back to it as well as taking from it, it just improves and improves.
The back has things like seasonal produce guide, a fishy business section with a sustainable seafood guide, and then the end is the 10 things you can do, and it steps through so people can choose to start by setting up a compost bin at home or having meat-free Monday and take it as far as they'd like to.
I look at the practicing sustainability subject that I ran with 16 amazing students this semester as an extension of this research, and as more of a demonstration of the type of research that I do. So the idea around it was to really have a look at the types of sustainability subjects that are on offer. The speakers that had greatest impact on the class and the way that people responded most powerfully were speakers that had a very strong sense of activism around them.
There's always antagonism against activists, even from people that agree with your points. There's always the conflict of activists being too pushy and general public not being ready for things, and but with food it just makes so much sense. I mean, we're biological beings, and it's only in recent times that our food has been taken out of our hands.
Food is the binding agent, and it brings people from everywhere together, so why not use that to engage whole communities to do something positive for the environment?
The inevitable gardens are going to be inevitable.